Hello everyone, welcome to the Calgary Language Learning and Exchange Club video channel. And in this video, I am going to talk about how does language exchange work and also how to improve the overall experience. So, if you are living in Calgary and you want to learn English or other languages, and also wanting to have a conversation partner to do proper language exchange, please join our group. Our Facebook page, the link is in the YouTube description below, as well as that the registration form for our group is within that Facebook page. So, and it's free. So if you are in Calgary and you are also learning languages in general, please join our group and we would make sure that you would have the best experience by finding you a conversation partner and making sure that your language learning is a success. So, what is language exchange about? Language exchange is when two people meet in a regular basis to learn each other's language. So, for example, if I want to learn Spanish and my native language is English, and what I want to find is a language exchange partner who is a native speaker in Spanish and wants to learn English, so that I could teach him English while he can teach me Spanish. So, and how this whole thing goes is when, for example, one of the partner talks in one language for a set amount of time, and then after that time comes, then we switch to the other language for the same amount of time. And after each turn that we switch the language, the native speaker should correct or provide recommendations to the learner as to how he could improve in the language. So in this Spanish-English scenario, we could start off with speaking 10 minutes of English, for example, and then afterwards I could provide him some comments about the conversation. Be positive, like what he did that's good and what can he improve on, etc. And afterwards, then we could switch to a 10 minutes of Spanish, so that I could have a chance to speak Spanish, and after 10 minutes the other person would provide me feedback as to how could I be better in speaking Spanish. So there are two things that is happening in language exchange, and one thing is that we have a chance to do a conversation, an actual conversation in the language of our choice, and we also have a feedback from native speakers as how we can improve. So this is a twofold learning process. And of course that you would need to learn the basics of the language first, or learning it to a certain level so that you could have basic conversation. You can't just suddenly have a language exchange without even knowing how to say I or you or she, or even like I am eating rice. if you can't even say that in the language, then of course that you shouldn't do language exchange. But once you get the basics going, I think this is a very good way in improving your language abilities. So, how to improve the experience? Well, for one, meeting in a relaxed and pressure-free environment uh, would be one. And the reason why is when you're in a loud and fast-paced environment, it's very hard for you to dig deep in your mind and remember things that you learned in the language. So it's best to actually in a relaxing environment, a pressure-free environment, and with both partners being patient with each other, because you know we're learning, right? We're all learning. So, and it takes time for us to grab vocabulary, the right vocabulary, the right grammar for a new language. So this is one of the most important thing is to provide a relaxing and pressure-free environment. Also, um, it is best to plan out the topics before you go into the language exchange session, because oftentimes, and this is what I found in a lot of meetup groups, is that when we don't have a plan out topics, usually we would run out of things to say, and this would actually lead to a lot of silences, which is a very ineffective way for doing language exchange. So as such, it is best to actually have planned out topics so that you know what you're going to talk about. You could already study on the vocabulary, things in the language that you haven't learned before a language exchange, so that you guys could both interact better. Now, the third one that I want to talk about, and that is why it is very hard for other medium to do, is to share experiences together. So, like this can be watching movies together or do activities together, like do sports together, etc. And the reason why is because the more shared experiences that you have together, the more things that you could talk about. And the more things that you could talk about, the more language exchange opportunities that you guys would both have. So that is why share experiences is very important in the whole language exchange system. And I recommend that people do that with their language exchange or conversation partners, because then you guys could not only develop friendship but also have more things to talk about. So, and keep in mind that as I mentioned before, language exchange is a very good way to develop meaningful relationships and connection, and it's a good way to um, to create friendship as well. And and that's why I think sharing experiences is probably, for me, is probably like the most important aspect of the language exchange. And not only that, you could learn from each other, you could also be friends with each other and create experience each other. And I think that's what's going to be the most beneficial in doing language exchange. And that's it for this video. Please look at our other videos and be sure to subscribe to our channel and follow our Facebook page. The link is in the video description below. Thank you. Bye.